What is going on, guys, and welcome to the vlog. You guys notice anything different? I finally have my sunglasses back. Adam LZ was kind enough to go to Rudnick's shop and Tommy's shop when they were hanging out, and he brought them to me at the drift event yesterday, which brings me to, if you guys are any new subscribers from Adam's channel, I wish you a warm welcome and thank you very much for tuning into my channel because we have some awesome content coming. Today I am heading to Chance's shop where I just dropped off my import, my first ever import, which is a 1991 Toyota Soarer, and I dropped it off for air suspension install, and this is going to be the first part to multiple parts of installing it, and it should be a lot of fun, so I'll see you guys there. So just got to Chance's, and Chance just pulled up, so we're gonna go inside, turn all the lights on, all that stuff, go over the car, look at everything, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do tonight. I think what we're gonna do, he told me briefly, is the trunk, and we're gonna get it like mocked up as much as we can. So that's gonna be cool because the trunk is gonna be the most aesthetic part of the bag install, because for those of you who don't know, or if you guys are new subscribers, we are going absolutely crazy inside the trunk and it's gonna look so cool. So I'll see you guys in there. All right, you guys, so here is my baby girl, my new car. This is a 91 Toyota Soarer that I got from HP Logic. Just a quick rundown of the car again because it's been here ever since we got it, pretty much. It's here for a full bag install by my friend Chance, so that's awesome. I'm gonna show you guys all the stuff that we have. We have it all laid out on the table here, and it looks so cool, and we're gonna dive into it today, and I'm so excited. So I have two seamless tanks here, and they are absolutely stunning. I think what we're gonna do is paint them white. Not entirely sure if we're gonna do it today, but we might. I also have Airlift 3P management for the car. These are D2 air struts, which are phenomenal, and I can't wait for these to be in the car. Two black Via Air 444 compressors, which is dope. Couple little custom things here and there, glow mounts, lights, all the necessary things here and there. And this thing's gonna look banging.
I feel like they're basically
They sent you blow pops. That is so funny. So like I said, tonight I think we're going to just be working on the trunk setup, which is going to be awesome. Chance knows what he's doing and has an idea of what we're going to be doing tonight, so I'm going to let him kind of talk real quick about his plan for this whole thing, because it's going to be badass and I can't really like justify it in my head and say it properly. So take it away, my guy.
So pretty much we're gonna make the template for the trunk cutout.
Yeah.
Cut the trunk cutout out, place it in the trunk, go over the fitment of the tanks, the manifold, the hard lines, kind of figure out what we're gonna do and go from there.
Awesome. So I needed to grab some tacks and stuff, so I got the classic little apple with needles and stuff in it, and this is my trunk liner. So I'm just gonna go around this and tack down all the corners so that way it's not wavy or anything. Then we can get a good line of the trunk, cut the MDF out, and then we can go from there. We're scratching the idea of these. They are not working. I mentioned in the previous video that there's one thing that I really like, and that's diversity. And that's the whole reason why I got a Soarer, why I'm like VIPing it, all that stuff. I'm just trying to be a little different. I've always loved Soarers. I've always loved long cars, long body cars, and I've always loved coupes. So what better car to import from Japan than the long coupe, the Soarer? So I also saw a couple of you guys commenting saying make sure that you get all this footage of you guys working on the car, because trust me, while I was waiting for this car to come into the US for the 3 months that it took, I was doing research that entire 3-month span, and let me tell you, there's like nothing written up about these cars. So I will definitely get as much footage as I can of us working on this car, whatever I decide to do to it in the future, and all the stuff we're doing to it right now, because it is vital information. So almost there, we'll trace it out, and then we can cut it. All right, so the thumbtacks weren't working. The MDF was too stiff and they kept popping out. And then we thought about staple gun, which will work perfectly fine. I don't think we're gonna be using this again because we're creating a template. We're creating an insert with this, so we really don't have a need for it once this is all done. So staple gun it is. It'll work perfectly fine. So, camera's a little dirty, but we got the trunk cut out. It all looks good. We went about 1/8 wider than the trunk itself. That way, when we come over here to the routing table, we can remove that 1/8 bit and make it nice and smooth and rounded, and it should look good. So that is the next thing that we are going to do. And he's also going to use this, if needed, to make the corners and stuff as round as possible, because using a carpet that's all folded and mangled and stuff as a template, sometimes the corners would get a little jagged. So he can use that, which he's super pumped about, to trace everything out, make it all look good. So let's do it. All right, guys, so we made it about like halfway through with the wood, the MDF trunk, and we decided to stop and just try and put it in the trunk. We realized we can't fit it in the trunk as one piece, so we're gonna have to section it into either 2 or 3 pieces. The original trunk lining has 3 pieces. Both corner sections are sectioned off, and then the middle section is its own. So we probably will end up doing that to make life easier. And this thing as one big piece, when you're routering it, it just makes it really hard because it just doesn't want to move. So another thing, this little plastic line thing doesn't really work too well on hard corners, so they're kind of rough. Nothing we can't fix with some sanding, but in all due time. So we're gonna throw it on the sawhorses, section it off, and then continue routering it, and I will show you guys the finished piece. All right, guys, so it has been a while. We've been working on the wood for a while. Last time I left off, the full piece wouldn't fit in the trunk, so we had to cut it into sections. Then we put the sections in, and this trunk is very weird the way it's set up. It has the frame rails running through it. The center section of the wood is sitting a lot lower than the side pieces, and that is because the frame rails run on the left and right side of the car, lifting those side pieces up. So the only way for those to be flush would mean that we would have to sand them down heavily and kind of cut out a groove for the frame rail to sit in, which we can do, but it's just going to take too long. So I think that we're going to skip that right now. We're going to put the wood aside and maybe work on it another day. But right now, he put both tanks in the trunk and kind of mocked them up the way that he likes and the way that I like, and the idea that we had, and it looks so cool. So this is the idea that we had originally, where we have the smaller tank on top as a floating tank. And this, I mean, we were worried originally that it was going to rattle and everything, and that we were worried that the hard lines weren't going to be enough to support the tank, but it is in there and it is not going to move at all. So that is awesome. I'm stoked. So right now, I think we're going to start making the pedestal, the mount that will hold the air management, which is kind of like the entire computer for the air, and you know, all that stuff. So he is cleaning up a little bit, and then we're gonna get started on that, start working on the metal and all that stuff, get the air management mocked up, the whole trunk mocked up. He was talking about the hard lines too, so maybe if we finish up, we can do the hard lines and all that stuff tonight. We're just trying to get this car done and have it look as good as possible at the same time. So I'm stoked at how it's coming along so far. The wood's being kind of a pain, but it is pretty thick, and the liner that was in this trunk originally is like very thin, so it's kind of hard to fit in here. So we'll make the wood work, even if we have to cut it up a bazillion times. It just needs to get put aside for right now and just have us focus on something else. So I'll see you guys when Chance is back in here and we start working on the mount. So guys, in the prior video, I talked about the glow mount that sits under the management and kind of holds it in place. It's really cool because it'll light up and change color and all that stuff. But for all of the new people, I bought a glow mount from Classy House Productions, and it's gonna be sick. So right now he's just marking the holes, and this is what it kind of looks like. The management will sit in this and it'll get wired up and it'll light up and all that stuff. So it's gonna be sick. I'll cut to some footage next of us cutting and mocking everything up. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so we have all the pieces cut out to make the pedestal. Right now he's setting up the sawhorses, and we're going to put them all together, tack them all up, make sure they all look good, and then we can proceed with putting them in the trunk, making sure they fit good, look good, all that stuff. And we're making progress, and I'm stoked. So, see how it goes. So we decided to grind at a 45-degree angle on the angle iron, or not the angle iron, the square tubing, and mount the pedestal like that. That way, when you look at it in the trunk, I'll show you here, the management will kind of be facing you at an angle. Originally, we were gonna have it facing flat, but now that I looked at it and I could see the tanks, how they're kind of offset, I wanted the management to kind of match that. So it's gonna come up from behind and come over the top tank and show the management at the same angle. So that's gonna be sick. So welding with flux core is disgusting, and it makes a bunch of spatter and all that stuff. So we're just cleaning up the welds, making sure it's all good. And then that's more than enough to hold some management, so. See you in a little bit. So guys, the pedestal is all welded up and cooled down, and right now we are bolting the management and the glow mount to the pedestal, and then we are going to put it into the car, test fit it, see how it looks with everything together with the tanks in there, and go from there. This thing's coming along really well, and I'm stoked that we were able to get this much work done today. So this is the kind of the idea that we're going with here. That'll get tucked behind. That's gonna mount up. Ooh, dude, I'm hyped on that. Obviously it's not gonna stand up right now because it's not bolted down or anything, but that is gonna look so cool.
Now let's just try something real quick.
Okay, so we bolted the pedestal down to just a random piece of wood just so that it actually stands up in there, and it looks so cool matched together with the two tanks and the two dual hardlines on each side. It looks so cool. Another really cool feature about these glow mounts is they actually have apps, and I'm gonna download the app to my phone. We're gonna wire this up, and I'm gonna sync with it, and we're gonna mess around with the colors a little bit, just so that you guys can get an idea of how crazy this actually will be when it's all done. Today's the first day, so obviously we're just making the first steps, but we got the tanks in here mocked up, we got the hard lines on, we got the pedestal made, we got everything kind of mocked up, so to speak, and it's going smoothly so far. The only hiccup we had today was the wood, but that's to be expected. Measure twice, cut once, things get kind of weird, and that's okay. We'll get that all figured out down the road, but this is gonna be really cool.
So I think.
So if you see right here, you have the entire RGB, and whatever I set it to, this thing changes, and it is so cool, dude. It's got a bunch of features. Look at that, dude. Oh shit, that's dope, dude. I'm about this. If you guys see here, we have both the compressors kind of mocked up where they will be as well. Just kind of symmetrical on both sides with the tanks in the center. Glow mount, management, pedestal, all that cool stuff. Oh man, that glow mount is so cool. Thank you for telling me to buy that, because that thing is like dope. So guys, I think we got a lot done today. We got the wood kind of cut out, still a little bit iffy on that, but we'll make that work. Got the pedestal all welded up, got the glow mount mounted, got the management mounted. The tanks are kind of set up. They're mocked up in the trunk for sure, with the hard lines on both sides and the compressors in here. And it's just gonna be so cool. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. I will be back tomorrow, right? I'll be back tomorrow to film part 2 of this, and it'll just go on from there until this is all set and done. But we made good progress for today, so I'm stoked. Be sure to follow Chance's Instagram. I'll leave it right here. He's the one that's doing this crazy setup for me, and I really, really appreciate it. His business is awesome. And be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.